Hey guys, it's Ed and Flippy here from 𝘭𝘶𝘬𝘺 Motorsports. On this week's segment of Grassroots Racer, we have an up-and-coming talent who I've run into quite a few times around the paddock over the years. He currently drives the Toyota 86. He's also done some Formula Ford, and I can't wait to hear what he hopes to do in the future. So let's chat, Clay Richards.
Yeah, hi Ed, and thanks for having me, mate.
It's such a pleasure to have you on the Grassroots Racer today. I'm really thrilled to speak to you today, Clay. And firstly, let's head into where it all began. So where'd you get the bug to become a race car driver?
Yeah, look, I've always had, as you know, growing up around motor racing with Dad and Grandpa, I've always had that interest of going motor racing or racing a car. So I think ever since I could remember, I always had little model cars of either Dad or Grandpa. So, and I was always, you know, making my own little tracks at home. So it was really inevitable. Really, I was going to continue the family tradition, as they say.
Well, so you are third generation drivers. So, you know, your family has been involved in motorsport for a long time. You know, how does it feel almost to, you know, following the legendary footsteps of your father and your grandfather? Yeah,
well, I'm very proud of what they have achieved, especially at Bathurst. But at the same time, yeah, a lot of people might have some expectations because I'm the third generation. But look, to be honest, I'm just taking it one race at a time and learning as I go. I'm only just at the start of my racing career, so. Yeah, at the moment I'm just enjoying my racing for what it is and just having fun along the way.
Look, I've been really impressed with your performance, especially at Bathurst last weekend, going out there in the 86 straight away and, you know, giving it a good old crack. When did you start karting? How old were you?
Dad bought me a kart when I was around 11 years old, and we were just a little rookie kart with a Yamaha J on it. And we just went out to some local tracks like 𝘭𝘶𝘠 and Todd Road, and yeah, just doing some test days. And it wasn't until I was around 14 I made the jump up to juniors, and that's when I started my first race down at Gippsland Go-Kart Club just for a club day. And yeah, from there I've been karting since 2019 was my last year in karts. So yeah, it's for a karter that might not be a very long karting career, and you know, a lot of karters now are starting at, you know, 6 or 7 years old. So it's not an overly long karting career, but yeah, I've definitely had so much fun in karting. That's the best form of motorsport.
Yeah, karting is such a, you know, great tool to, you know, learn how to race, I guess. Like I was in juniors when you were in your final year of karting in 2019. I know you and your father worked on the kart together. So has that continued as you know, you've progressed the cars now? And is it a good bonding time for you and your dad to have some fun and focus on your progress?
Yeah, exactly right. Dad's been a massive help on the tools, especially through karting, and he's continuing now to have the spanners on the car and on the Formula Ford. So yeah, it's definitely, you know, we all have a lot of fun, Dad and I, and yeah, it's really cool.
I also know you did some Formula Ford. I even remember seeing you at Winton one day. You were testing it there. So are you disappointed that, you know, COVID didn't give you the chance to do actually, you know, much racing? Yeah,
I was. Yeah, last year was really going to be my first full-time year of car racing, and I've done a couple little Formula Ford rounds in 2019. I was in Perth at Barbagallo, just in a little 1600 Formula Ford with fast lane racing, and then I did the first round of the state series at Phillip Island. So then we, due to other things, we couldn't go racing. But yeah, for 2020 we were ready to do the full season. We did the first round at Sandown, and then COVID hit and we couldn't go racing anymore. So bit of a shame, but hopefully this year we'll turn around, and because we're doing both Toyota 86 and Formula Ford this year. So, which is very exciting. So, yeah, look, I'm looking forward to the year ahead if it, fingers crossed, all goes to plan.
Yeah, last year was my first season in the supercar, which they go a bit quicker and they race at the circuits like Phillip Island. So I was really excited to go on the big tracks, and I definitely know COVID was a problem for lots of us racers out there. You've done a bit of Formula Ford, not too much, as you said, because of COVID, and you did a couple rounds in 2019, but is it really fun to drive?
Yeah, the Formula Fords are really, really fun to drive. They're obviously a lot different parts, especially with front brakes and you got a gear shifter as well. But yeah, look, they're so much fun to drive, and they're a perfect example of a grassroots level of racing for young drivers, and they really teach you about racecraft and really get you set up for your future in racing.
So you just even mentioned then like gears and front brakes. So is that a part of transitioning from karting to cars?
Yeah, it was definitely like I said, a really big difference from karting, and it took quite a while to get used to, getting used to changing gears and braking, using the front of the car, the front brakes, and so that was something I really had to get my head around. And fortunately, I think now I'm not doing half bad with all that, but that was definitely probably the biggest challenge, and also heel and towing as well. That was also a big challenge.
So it's very important to master, I guess, that transition. This year, is pretty exciting for you because you get to drive in the Toyota 86 series. So was there a lot of preparation to make that happen?
Yeah, there was a lot going on behind the scenes, from organising to get the car, because we really only around late last year, a friend of ours came up to us and said, "Oh, why don't we go 86 racing?" And fortunately, Rodney Woods is his name. He's been a massive help to me and for getting that all started. And so we bought a car and organised all these. I'm very, very lucky because I've got those support sponsors and supporters like Shannon's Insurance and Penrite Oils that have really put their faith in me, supporting me, I should say. And so the 86 behind the scenes has been there's been a lot of hard work going along, and and hopefully we can have a couple good runs this year and make it all worth it.
So as you were prepping the car, your first round was at Bathurst the weekend that just passed. So what's the hardest part of the Bathurst layout, and how did it feel the first time you drove around there?
Yeah, so it was very, 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 very exciting to first drive around there. I think the biggest thing for me was obviously Bathurst is a very intimidating place, and there's a lot of elevation changes, and there's a lot of walls as well to get used to. I'm not used to the walls being so close. So that took some time to get used to. We actually went there in November for an event called Challenge Bathurst in the 86, where we get people like you and me can take their car. They close the track off for people like you and me who can go and just have a burn around Bathurst. And so we did 2 days of that to get a bit of practice in for the first round. And it's such a fun track, and it's amazing how quick you can go through some of those corners in the 86, and it's good fun.
So you were talking about that 86 challenge around Bathurst. If I'm correct, you did that in a yellow car?
Yeah, so that yellow car is the car we've got now. So what we've done is with our livery, we've just basically put a wrap on it, but it's still yellow. If you open the doors up, you can see on the inside that they're a really cheesy yellow type of color.
I know that this is a fact I know. When you drive an 86, I've heard it's the same as go-karting where you have to roll, because if you don't, do the throttle management correctly, you won't get out of the corner very well. Is that true?
Yeah, and also because they're not an overly powerful car, and you rely so much on momentum in those cars. It's all about carrying the speed through those corners and maintaining speed. That's all it is really. That's the biggest challenge in one of those. And they've also got ABS, which is a sort of like an anti brake locking mechanism. So you can brake as hard and as late as you can really, and you don't have to worry about locking a front. So it's just wrapping your head around those little things really.
I can really imagine it's like pretty cool to drive around Bathurst with those cars going as quick as they do, driving right up against the wall. Did you learn a lot from the weekend?
Yeah, I learned heaps. Like Bathurst is a place where you just need to go and drive it to learn. There's nothing that beats that really. So yeah, I've learned heaps, and I'm looking forward to going back there later this year for the final round of the 86 series.
I was having a look on your Instagram page, and I noticed that you did a training session with Thomas Randall. I'm pretty sure it was on rFactor 2, where you did some training in an 86 at Bathurst. So could you share any advice or tips that you picked up along the way, maybe for sim racers like me?
Yeah, look, Tom's been a massive help. Obviously, he's one of the best up and coming talents in Australia at the moment. So to be able to work with Tom is really cool. He had a setup down in called Dream Simulation, which was a big motion simulator, and what we did was just had about an hour and a half, 2 hours to just get my head around the track and learn a couple things as well. Just not to for example, not using the brake as hard. So just releasing that pressure a little bit, just to carry the momentum through the corners, and so that was something I really took away from that.
It must be really helpful having someone like Thomas there you can go do a training session with. I know Thomas is a very great driver. He's also nearly out of that grassroots level. I hope to see him in V8 Supercars either next year or in a couple of years. With the sim racing, you've had some pretty successful results with a few series you've done. Which was your favourite memory from that?
Oh, I've got a lot of cool memories. I did the Hyundai Excel series, which was basically we just raced around in iRacing and little MX-5s on tracks like Laguna Seca, Bathurst, and a few other cool well-known tracks as well. So I did that with a really good friend of mine, Ben Barguana, who we had a bunch of laughs with throughout that season. And I also competed in the state of origin, where it was Victoria versus New South Wales versus ACT, and we're very fortunate to win that championship, which was really cool. So so that was with GT3 cars like Mercedes, the BMW Z4s, the Ferrari 488s as well. So that was a really fun series as well that I also did with Ben, and we had a lot of laughs.
Yeah, I remember watching it on Race Stars TV. It was a really good program, getting all that together and having a great race on iRacing. I do a bit myself. I'm not too good though. You still have much to achieve in your racing career as you're still moving up the ranks. Where are you hoping to end up, and have you ever wanted to race overseas?
Yeah. Oh, look, at the moment we'll just get through this year and see where we end up after that. But at the moment, I'm enjoying my racing for what it is. This motorsport game isn't always guaranteed, and you just got to have fun along the way. But I'd love to, if the opportunity comes, racing supercars and as well go overseas. To to maybe Europe or the US as well. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, look, I would love to race overseas one day. I think it's everyone's dream. Even if you're in Europe, like I've heard a lot of European drivers say they'd love to come to Australia. So, as we all know though, sponsors are a big part of every race team. I love the Shannon's livery, by the way. Looks really nice. Are there any other sponsors in particular you would like to mention that have helped you through your motorsport journey?
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky, and I've had a lot of support from a lot of different people, from the likes of Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oils, Urban Alley Brewery, Bell Real Estate, Yarra Valley, and Woods Environmental Services, Sign Zone, Global Machinery Sales, and but there's been a whole bunch of people. MCC Group as well in Queensland. There's been so many people in my corner. It's I'm very, very grateful for that.
Well, the 86 looks great, mate, with all of the sponsors on it. So I can see that you greatly appreciate them. I can imagine you've seen many Bathursts coming from a family of absolute legends. So, what was your favourite memory from watching it?
I think some of the early Bathursts, both Granddad and Dad won. I didn't remember so much. But I think the favourite for me was probably in 2018, just because both me and my sister Priya, we were both there to witness the great win, and that was something. And it was also Dad and Craig's last Bathurst together, so that was pretty cool to witness. And that's something that I'll definitely never forget.
Look, at that time, I will admit I was supporting the Fords, but to see your dad, the nicest guys I've ever met, win that race was so great to see. Would you like to do the Bathurst 1000 with your dad one day?
Oh, look, definitely. If the opportunity was there, absolutely. I don't know how Dad will go, but look, it'd be an awesome feeling to drive with your dad, and both my grandpa and dad, they've both driven for each other and are driven with each other. Sorry. So that'd be pretty cool, I reckon.
And lastly, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there and viewers who are keen to see you out on track and want to keep up with your progress. So what social media platforms can they find you on?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. So my username for my Instagram is Clay so Clay Richards with 2 underscores in between. And you can also follow me on my Facebook as well, Clay Richards Racing. So that's where I do most of my race updates. And
thanks, Clay. It's been great seeing you back on track in 2021, especially after Bathurst. It was great seeing you out there. Hopefully we can see you at the front. I'd love to see you with the front guys. It's been awesome speaking to you today, and I really appreciate you taking time to chat to me. Good luck with your racing in 2021. Hope we can catch up at the track sometime, and maybe you can give me tips. Hope you get to race a lot in 2021 because of COVID, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Ed, and thanks for having me again.
Thanks to all the listeners or watchers this week. I'm having heaps of fun speaking to many different grassroots racers and hearing their stories. And look, Clay, you were one of the favourites, I'll have to say. It's been a pleasure speaking. And thanks everybody for listening or watching. And remember, drive fast and take chances.